Is this thing on?
What's up, you sexy motherfuckers? Welcome to another episode of Dumb Blonde. From East Texas bars to selling out arenas, this man has turned heartbreak, bad decisions, and real life into an entire movement. You guys, I've been trying to get this mofo on the podcast forever. Welcome, Koe Wetzel.
What's up?
Dude, you look so good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What the hell's going on? We have to talk about this glow up because everybody online is noticing it.
Yeah.
You look happy. You look healthy. What's happening?
Yeah, it's just a lot of changes. A lot of big changes have been happening over the last couple of years. And I think it was time. I feel like everybody's been kind of getting on this health kick, seeing Jelly do it, obviously. And then a lot of us, me and Ern and a lot of the guys just kind of, I guess, just figured it was time to get our shit together. And, it was, I don't know. I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, damn, we were actually doing promo for the Damn Near Normal world tour. And, before we dropped 9 Lives and stuff. And I was on the lake fishing with my buddy. He was like behind me doing some content. And we got back and I was looking at myself. I was like, God damn, I didn't let myself go. And I got on the scale.
Oh, no.
It was like about 2 years ago. And I was like, I got to get it figured out. So kind of started around then, I guess. And then, I don't know, it's just, having baby girl come into the world and all these things, I don't know, kind of decided it was time to get right.
You got the dad glow up.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And then,
well, you can go one of two ways. I've seen it happen. Like they end up looking hot like this, or they end up fucking looking like John Goodman. So
yeah, I don't know. I think I would have been pretty bad off if I'd have went the other way where I was at before. So.
Oh, I remember when we were on tour with you guys were fucking wild.
It was that, but yeah, whenever we were on tour together, every night was a party too. Just as well as I do. It was chaos. So
I don't know how you guys do it. My husband was the same way. Like they would drink every night, and I'm just like, how do you guys even function and then do it again the next day?
Well, that was it to get over the hangover, was just start drinking again, and about
Hair
that time is around showtime, and then we'd party together till 4 or 5 in the morning, and then go back into it. So.
No, it was wild, but I'm proud of you. You look really good. Are you taking peptides or anything?
Yeah, I got on some peptides. Yeah, I love.
Which ones? What's your stack?
So I'm doing like the BPC 157, TB 500. I ran Retta for a little while.
How did Retta make you feel? Because I took Retta and that shit made me want to off myself.
It was good. Like the first 2 or 3 weeks, it was really good, and then I don't know. I just couldn't drink on it. Every time I drank on it, that was whenever it got really bad. But
like sick? You get sick?
Yeah,
or depressed?
it was like the worst headache ever. Like super nauseous the next day. But I never had any bad side effects on it while I was on it. And then I ran for about 2 or 3 months, and then got off of it. And then I got like GHKCU and NAD plus, but I feel like Superman.
Doing all the good stuff.
The energy levels, like everything about it. It's just kind of like a tool that I've been using, obviously that, and eating clean and being in the gym too. So I don't know. It's good for the mental health and everything, like everything about it, I guess. So
you seem more clear-headed and more focused than I've ever seen you before. That
was another thing with the Reddit too, though. Like it did fuck with my dopamine levels. I feel like a little bit, like stuff that I did enjoy, because it just kind of suppresses like your appetite along with other things, I feel like. And so,
bro, I couldn't even listen to music.
Yeah,
when I was on it, I was driving one day with no sound.
Yeah,
and I was like, "This, you know what? Something's fucking wrong." I was like, "This is up." Like, I at least have to. If I'm not gonna eat, I need to listen to music.
Sure. Yeah, but that helped a lot with the alcohol and stuff, because then I would look at alcohol and be like, I can't drink that shit, and so that's helped a lot with that as well. And but that was cool coming off of that, because a lot of the stuff that it suppressed, it kind of carried over into what it is now. And so the whole drinking thing, I think I'm drinking like 2 or 3 times a month maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the last time I seen you, I think I had a bottle in my hand every time I seen you. So
I don't even think you remember that tour.
I don't. It was chaos. It was I don't know. It was. But it was a lot of fun.
Isn't it so cool to look back on it and then look and see how far you've grown though?
Yeah,
that's what life is about. It's like evolve or die.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And then that's what you're doing. And I think that you're setting a really good example for guys that are in the industry and that are in the same lane as you, because you would think of like outlaw music and rock country and Texas music. You think of everybody just like, kind of having their own like wild streak, and you do still have your wild streak, but
absolutely.
you've kind of contained the beast.
Yeah, no, I think that's sort of it's good to have that happy medium though, being in it and and I'm not saying, I'm not just walking a straight line nowadays. I still have my nights to where I'll go out and as much as I can. The hangovers are hurting a little more these days, so it's not.
That's age. How old are you?
I'm 33. I'll be 34 in July.
You're still a baby.
I know everybody keeps saying that. I feel like I'm 85 years old some days, with I don't know, aching bones and.
Wait till you hit your 40s and you're like, what the fuck happened,
I've
dude?
heard like people would tell me that they'd be like, in your 20s, they're like, wait till you get to your 30s, and you get to your 30s, they're like, wait till you get to your 40s, and yeah, I don't know. We'll
You
see.
sniff alcohol in your 40s and you have a over, dude. I had to stop drinking. I stopped drinking in my 40s because it just was not worth the 3 days of being.
Are you not drinking? Do you not drink
I've been sober since 2018 off alcohol.
Congrats.
2017 off pills and cocaine,
Nice.
and 2018 off alcohol. Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you just, sobriety is probably one of the hardest journeys you'll ever take. So I never try to like preach it to anybody, and everybody's journey is their own. But when you learn how to control it, it's like the biggest blessing ever.
I've heard it's the super drug. Like that's, and the older that I'm getting, it's obviously seeming more appealing to me. And it does, like me slowing it down. Like I said, I drink 2 or 3 times a month, and, I'll go for the week and a half, 2 weeks in between drinking, and I'm eating super clean. And I'm going to the gym 5 days a week, getting up early in the morning, and watching the sun come up and having that alone time for that 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, and just trying to get everything together and clear your head and stuff. I feel so damn good, compared to, back whenever it was kind of going to bed at that time,
Right.
and just trying to nurse the hangover all day. But no, I do feel, me and Parker talk about that a lot.
Parker's crazy.
Yeah, he's on a different level though. You know, he's
I had him in here too, and I was finding out all the shit he was doing. I was like, T?
We came up together, and so we had some good times. We had some rowdy times, and
he told us.
I talked to him. He's one of my best friends. I talk to him, every other day or whatever, and that's just how how our conversations have changed as we've kind of grown up and stuff, and he'll tell you the same thing. He'll go, I feel he's in the best shape of his life right now. He's doing all this stuff. Just won album of the year with ACM and stuff.
I know. So
he was
proud
like,
of him.
it's crazy because you go out and drink, and it's like all that, 10, 12, 15 days of you just being super clean and working out and everything, it's kind of depletes for a week. You feel like shit for a week, and it's really hard to get back to. So, but no, there's a lot of us that are in a really good place right now. I think it's, I don't know, it feels good to feel good, and I don't know.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Is there anything else that you do besides like songwriting? Like, do you journal? What do you do? Or do you like meditate?
Not so much. I've tried the meditating deal, but I don't know.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard.
Right? And I even tried to get into like the grounding where you walk out and
barefoot. I get weirded out. I'm like, what if I'm stepping on dog piss?
I know,
I get so weird.
And we, out in Texas, we got a bunch of damn sticker bears and everything else. So, I mean, I don't. The grounding deal and the meditation I heard is like really good for it. But I got
Cold plunge.
The what?
Cold plunge?
Oh, yeah. Cold plunge. So we got like cold plunge and sauna at the house and stuff. And I'll do the hot cold therapy and all that stuff, which is great. But that and I'll do a bunch of box breathing. It's been like really good for me, especially like coming in and doing all these podcasts and stuff and not knowing what we're going to talk about and stuff. Like I woke up this morning and I walked outside and I was just like trying to do my box breathing and stuff. But
I think it's so funny that you can stand in front of thousands of people, but then coming to do a podcast or having to sit one-on-one with somebody.
It is, I don't know what it is about it. Like, and I've always been that way, for the longest, like the first probably 5 or 6 years of our career, like from Noise Complaint till probably before I signed with Columbia. So, I mean, damn near 5 years, I had like really no interviews and stuff like that. And I love that because for one, it gave people kind of like, it was like a mysterious deal. Like, who is Koe Wetzel? What is this music? And we had a lot of fans that wanted to know a lot about me, but at the same time it was, and it really wasn't it was kind of like the anxiety and everything kind of came from all that, I guess, later on, after doing it a lot. Like it was never that I didn't want to do them. It was just, we didn't push the radio or anything like that. So, I don't know. We just never really did them. And then whenever I started doing them, I was like, this is crazy. This is not what I'm used to. So.
It could also be because you're kind of sober now too. Yeah. So you're not like before you were probably showing up hungover or drunk and like still having something in your system.
Yeah. And I would, to get through them, used to be to get through the podcast and interviews and stuff like that. I'd go to the bar and get pretty loose and then get on the podcast interview and drink then. And by the end of it, I'm spilling the beans on everything and just.
Damn it. We should have got that Koe.
That's what I told Cody and them on the way over here. I was like, man, we should have grabbed some beers on the way over here. And I was like, nah, hell no. I'll be saying all kinds of stupid shit on there.
That's all we need. That's so funny. All right. So moving on, let's talk about how you grew up in East Texas. I actually grew up I'm from Texas myself. Okay. I'm from Houston, but I thought it was great to find out that you grew up around the Fort Worth area because I literally have a hat that says Fort Worth famous. Yeah. Growing up in East Texas, it means everybody knows your business. Like everybody's in your business. What's the dumbest rumor you've ever heard about yourself back home?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm sure there's some spicy ones you don't want to tell us.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of...
He's trying to be politically correct Koe now.
I know, I really am. And that's the sober thoughts in me right now. I don't know.
You're fine. You don't have to answer it.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to think of one, the fifth. Actually. Yeah, I'll plead the fifth on that one, I guess.
So growing up, you grew up with a mom that was a touring musician. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about that and take me on that journey?
Yeah.
What life is like?
Yeah, she didn't tour like all the time. It was kind of like a weekend gig deal. Mm-hmm. She just played like opera houses and stuff like that for, stand-in bands. And we'd go around to, every other weekend to opera houses and little auditoriums and state or county fairs and shit like that. And she just kind of played all her cover songs and stuff. And so I grew up around live bands and going to these shows. I was a little shithead kid that was like running through the crowds and everybody's like, where's this kid's parents, And and my dad, he worked his ass off a lot and he was always gone a lot. So, if mama didn't want to leave me with my grandparents, she'd let me tag along. And then that actually kind of, transformed into me getting on stage with her at a young age and being able to play with these bands. And I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It was a cool childhood to be able to come up around all that and to kind of, see what I kind of liked about each band member that I was around and what instruments I wanted to play and just kind of how to work a stage at a very young age. So it was a lot of fun. And to this day, she'll see something. She always thinks her baby does the best on stage, but I know sometimes that's not the case. But she'll still critique me every now and then, which is it's a good thing though. I like having her come to the shows. She loves to come out and to get in the crowd and let everybody know that I'm her baby. So
I love your sisters. They follow me on TikTok and they're awesome.
Yeah, they're a trip.
Yeah, they're sweet.
ZK, she's starting to make Woods TikTok famous, I guess. She at first I didn't even know she was like posting her on, which I don't care. But I start seeing all these videos and ZK's a trip by herself, and then Woods, I'm sure she's going to take after her aunts too. So
that kid, we're going to talk about Woods in a second, but she has your face. Like, that you cannot deny that baby.
Yeah.
I feel so bad because Bailey carried her, but literally birthed you.
Yeah, I know. I tell everybody, I kind of felt bad for her whenever she first came out because she did look so much like me, and now she's starting to look more like Bailey, which is a good thing, But yes, there's no denying that one. That's a fact.
Aww. So growing up in such a musical family, what were some of your inspirations for the sound that you have now?
So I came from a bunch of different backgrounds. Like my mom, obviously she was into like old timey country and then 90s country. So like anywhere we went, it was between like that and like gospel and worship music. And then with my dad, riding around with him, it was all like old school rock and hip hop. Like hip hop was his thing. Like anywhere.
What was his favorite hip hop artist?
Oh man, he was a big 50 Cent. Like he liked new age.
Yeah.
He messed with like all the old stuff as well. But like
50's album back then I loved it. It was my stripping
Get
song.
Rich or Die Trying is still to this day is still one of my favorite records of all time. But like it was one of them like one of those things that me and Daddy would go out wherever it was or whatever we were doing, and he would play, that record or Eminem's record and the non-edited version and the parental advisory and right before we get out of the truck, he'd say, hey, listen here, you go in there and you tell your mom we listen to this shit and it'll be the last time we listen to it. And I was like, all right, cool. That was like our little secret that we had. And then, every now and then I'd blurt out a line or something and mom was like, where the fuck did you hear that? And so, yeah, she was pretty strict on me as far as like what I got to listen to. But Gary Dale was a real one, and let me just kind of crash out on all of it.
Did you ever want to do rap? Did you ever want to be a rapper?
No, not really.
Like Ernest. Ernest used to rap,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I find hilarious.
He's cold too.
No, he's great.
Really good.
Yeah, no, he's great.
No, I grew up around a lot of friends that did and stuff, and I used to flow a little bit, but I just never. I was just more like a vocal melody kind of guy, you know. Like I love Anthony Hamilton, right? And so like that was one of my favorites growing up. My cousin Chase, I remember whenever I first got my first iPod, or I guess like the Nano or whatever it was that came out. We didn't have a computer at the house, so I like gave it to him to put all his music on, and he gave it to me, and it came with like everything that I'd never heard before, like a bunch of Eminem, a bunch of like Anthony Hamilton and stuff like that. So he was another big influence on why I listen to the stuff I do and how it kind of transformed my sound, I guess, today.
I love that. So going from a musical family, of course, you're in Texas, so you play football. Football's huge. Take me on that journey of playing football, but also didn't you get kicked out of college for too many wild nights?
Yeah, too many wild nights.
I mean, I don't even believe that, Koe.
I know, it's crazy to think nowadays, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah. So in Texas, you know, football is life. It's kind of everywhere. It's hard to get away from, and just as like it's music, you know. And so yeah, I came up playing football. Come from a very athletic. Both sides of my family very athletic as well. And my granddad, he was one of the only All-Americans to come from Pittsburgh, Texas. You can't wear number 12 at Pittsburgh. They retired his number, and so just like a bunch of, you know, I came from a background of, you know, it was, you had to play sports whether you liked it or not. But so I ended up getting a football scholarship to Tarleton State in Stephenville. Went up there and snapped my leg and had to have surgery, and I came back, and that was kind of in the time that we were putting the band together and starting to gig a lot more and kind of travel and play music. And so yeah, once I came back, I was like, I'm tired of getting up at 5 a.m. every morning. I'm tired of motherfuckers yelling at me. So yeah, I told them to kick rocks and started chasing this music dream. And then I stayed in school for another year. So it would have been my second year at Tarleton State. And like I said, we were playing a lot of music, and I like chasing women and drinking beer a lot more than going to school. And so they told me to get fucked and
throwing balls with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, no, I was tired of tackling dudes, and no, it was. I think it was, looking back now, it was one of the better things that could have happened to me, because that led to so many more opportunities. I feel like, you know, there's no telling where I'd be in life had I stuck it out. And honestly, I'll tell you where I'd probably be pouring concrete, honestly, back in East Texas with my family. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity in that. And back then, my folks did not think that way, you know, about it. They were pretty upset with me, and it was kind of, you know, you got to figure this shit out pretty early on. And lucky for me, you know, I had a lot of cool guys around me that helped shape the sound that we had. And, you know, eventually having people fuck with the music the way they did, and kind of give us this opportunity to continue playing and living this life that we get to. So.
When did you realize that music was actually going to like make it for you? Because after you get kicked out of school, are you thinking like, I really have to like make something happen in music, or I'm going to go back to pouring concrete with my family?
Yeah, it was, you know, it was kind of a bunch of different things. Cause after I got out of school, it wasn't, you know, we were playing a bunch of shows, but it was like 3 or 4 a month. Like it wasn't, we didn't have a huge touring schedule, and you know, it was just us doing it. We didn't have a manager, booking agent, none of that stuff. So we were doing everything on our own. And so that was kind of like the all right, we got to go ahead and get it. And then I go to jail, I get picked up, you know, I'm kind of skipping around on jobs. I can't really keep a job just cause, you know, I'm drinking and I'm partying my ass off and stuff. And so I'm bouncing around. I finally get picked up in Stephenville for a PI, which I don't really remember. I left the party. I think my truck broke down, and they found me out in the middle of a soccer field, and so I kind of woke up in jail, not really knowing what had happened, and ended up staying there for about 2 or 3 days, and finally, you know, kind of coming out of it, called my dad, and my dad said, you know, he was never going to be super upset with me unless I went to jail. And so having to call him on that, after that situation, it was it was pretty hard, and he did, he just said, "Hey, you're a grown ass dude." He's like, "I raised you the way I did. I know what kind of person you are." He's like, "But you got to figure this shit out." And so ever since that moment, it was kind of like, all right, it's kind of like fight or what is it?
Fight or flight.
Yeah, fight or flight, and it was one of them moments that, man, I'll never forget it. I was laying in bed one night, and I was I didn't have any money. I was broke. It felt like the music wasn't going anywhere. The songs I was writing didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Didn't mean a whole lot to me. And I prayed about it. I was like, God, if this is what you really want me to do, you gotta let me know, like, soon. Because if not, then I'm either going to go to the oil patch out in West Texas, or I'm going to go back to East Texas and I'm going to pour concrete. And I'll never forget that, because I went in and started writing these songs for Noise Complaint. We put out Noise Complaint, and within 2 weeks, we're selling out shows all over Texas. And it was kind of a moment for me that I was like, all right, this is your calling. This is what God sets you out to do. So you need to figure it out and really hammer down and really, go all in on that. And with that, I met Jeb with Red 11. That's my manager now, Jeb Hurt. And the pieces just really started falling into place for us. And it's just kind of led up to everything that is now. It's kind of crazy from where it started to where it is now. And taking the time to look back and enjoying those small moments like that, as shitty as they were, as rough as some of those moments were, to how good everything is now. It's a blessing. So
it is such a blessing, and and you should be proud of yourself. I remember when I first started hearing about you, I think you were like going viral on X, and I think like one of the social media platforms, and that's how I had found out about you. Yeah. And I was just like, who is this? And then my husband found out about you, and he was just like, oh my God, I love Koe. You have to hear Koe. And so like we were all Koe in the house, and then you've just like watching just the transformation. And I understand what you're saying, because there's sometimes where Jay and I will just sit down and we'll just be like, dude, do you remember like when we were in a 18 passenger van,
yes,
driving from show to show. And it's like, sometimes I really miss those days, because it was so simple, and then you look at to where everybody is now, and it's just like, holy shit. Like, it's a wild ride.
It's, and it's, it's crazy to think, they say, these are the best days right here. You don't realize the best days until they're over with. Right.
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot, going from, piling everything into the back of my pickup and driving across Texas for these shows, into the van, into the bigger van, into the bus. And now, we're flying around on jets and stuff. And it's crazy to even think about, but because back then, we never in our wildest dreams thought about that, much less playing to, all these thousands of folks that come out and listen to us, but there was in every single one of those moments, there was really great times that were had, and some of the best moments, but we just didn't know how good we had it, And I don't know, I think, with life and getting older and everything, I think the best is yet to come. And so I think it's, I don't know, just a good way to look at life and kind of go into each day with.
I love that. Yeah. I love that perspective. Coming in the industry though, did people first embrace your sound, or do you feel like you had to like really prove yourself?
So like whenever we first came in?
Yeah, like when you first came in, and like even I know how hard it is to get on radio,
sure.
So you have to do the whole dog and pony show with them. So what was it like trying to even get played on the radio?
Well, I think, we came up in the Texas country scene, the red dirt scene down in Oklahoma and Texas. And so I feel like for the longest time, we put out our first EP like in 2013. And then we did a record after that out in 2014, 15, and then Noise Complaint. So for 2 records, pretty much, I feel like we were trying to do something that everybody else was doing. We weren't like, I wasn't being 100% myself. I was being myself, but my music wasn't showing that a lot, right? And so with Noise Complaint, it was one of those deals that it was the first time that I just went in all in and was just like, this is 100% me. I'm going to tell it exactly the way I want to. I want it to be rowdy. I want it to be crazy. And not to say that I'm the first rowdy, crazy motherfucker to come out of the Texas scene or the red dirt scene, because I'm not. But I think at that moment, I just wanted to be different than anybody else. I didn't want to be cookie cutter in any way. I wanted to be 100% us, because we were 20, 21, 22, 23 years old. I mean, we were kind of would have been coming out of college if I'd have stuck around, But no, I mean, it was, we were still in that party era, man. It was like, we're young, wild, and free. And so taking that to the shows and just going crazy and playing to these college crowds and playing to the same kids and people that are going through the same shit as we are in this, coming of age, like era of ourselves. And so that was super huge for us, is just to be 100% authentic, not try to be anything like anybody else. And so in the Texas Red Dirt scene, you can tour around year round all over Texas and the surrounding states. And we were playing for, tens of thousands of people, pretty quick. And that was before we even tried anything with radio, because we did it for so long without radio that we felt that we didn't really need it. And it wasn't until recently, I mean, last year, 2 years ago, that we took a stab at radio, just because we kind of felt in ourselves that it was, we had basically done everything that we possibly could on our own without, anybody's help. And so
sometimes you hit that ceiling and it's like
absolutely.
you need help to get to the next level.
For sure. And I'm not the one to be, I hate asking people for stuff. I hate asking people for help. I feel like I can always do it on my own, and that's 100% not the case.
Right.
And, I feel like you can always use help from somebody. And so getting to play all these mainstream festivals and stuff over the last like 4 or 5 years, I was just seeing the way these crowds acted, up north and places that weren't familiar with our music and stuff. And I was like, a lot of these folks and fans that are coming out and listening to these are listening to people and artists that have multiple number ones on radio. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of the moment. Whenever we cut 9 Lives, I went to Ben Madahi, my A&R with Columbia, and I was like, yo, I think this is the right time for us to go to radio. And I think we have it with High Road. I think that's if we're going to do one, we might as well do it with this tune. And we got Jessie on it, which is a absolute dog. She's a superstar. I love Jessie.
Yeah, we love Jessie too.
Got her to come on it, and man,
the controversy that surrounded. I had to stand up for her. I felt so bad.
Crazy. Yeah, and it was like, and I was doing the same thing, and it was just kind of like it was so ignorant, and it was. But she's such a dog and such a fighter. Like every time she would like clap back, I was just like reposting it. I was like, fuck everybody. Like it was so stupid that it happened, but
it was great publicity.
100%. You can't do that. You can't do that stuff on your own. I feel
right.
Like it was so organic and everything that happened. And again, I hate that had to happen, and to her so early on in her career too. But the way she handled it, I was like, I definitely want these people around me. I want her on this song, and I thought that she made that song what it is, especially with everything that happened. And first single out to radio, and it does what it did. It was beyond us how that helped out. And then we start playing these festivals. We go back to these same festivals that people really didn't know who we were, and they're singing every word to damn near every song. So it's I don't know, it's crazy to look for help sometimes whenever you think you don't need it. So
yeah, you have a great catalog too. But I think one of my favorite things about you is you're not afraid to say the word in your songs. I love that about you. And what is it? Is it where you're just like, yeah. Every time I'm like, I always get behind you. I'm like, Koe.
Let's go.
All right. So let's talk about this new album, The Night Champion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell me about it. Like, what is different about it? What's the sound? Mm-hmm. What is your favorite songs? Like, tell me all the details about Night Champion.
Yeah. So The Night Champion, it's a record that kind of made itself. Like, we didn't go into it thinking that, thinking that we were going to make a record. Obviously we wanted to put out some music following up the success of 9 Lives and High Road and all these songs. So we honestly went in to write some songs just to have out, throw out some singles, do this, do that. And The Night Champion kind of wrote itself. We go in to write a song and then we come out with 3. And this was, 3 or 4 times of doing that. And before we knew it, we had this record. And so, it's kind of an accumulation of the last 10 years, basically, of me playing music, like from Noise Complaint. I feel like every chapter of my life is an album that I put out. I kind of throw that into the record that's out at that time. And you can look back on every chapter of my life, and I feel like each one of the records that I put out has kind of been each chapter of it. And so this record is no different from that. I think that the Night Champion is kind of a wrap on probably like the last 10 years of my life and the last 10 years of me playing music. It's just kind of maybe closing the book for a little bit, and I don't know what I'm trying to get across whenever I say that. By no means am I quitting music or anything like that, but I just think with the sound that I've had for the longest time, 9 Lives was kind of a stretch for us as far as the way our music went. We had 4 rock albums basically, Southern rock with a little twang of country, and then 9 Lives came out, and it was kind of a more mature me, super vulnerable. And this record isn't too far off from 9 Lives. It's almost like a continuation of that record. And but yeah, no, the Night Champion, the name and everything comes from this kind of the last 2 years of my life and kind of getting everything, all my ducks in a row and getting more my health online with my physical, mental health, everything about it, and just kind of that change, just kind of like me coming out of the night a champion basically, and not being in jail or dead. I think that's kind of I think in a sense in my mind I'm somewhat of a champion from coming out from that, especially in these last 2 years of my life and where I am with everything. So that's kind of the whole essence of the new record coming out, and we're really excited about it. We've got some really cool songs on there, and I think it's got a little bit for everybody that, if you've been a fan from the very beginning, or if you're a fan, a newer fan, I think it's got a lot of stuff that you'll be able to pick out and be like, oh, well, this is from this part, this is from this part. So,
do any of the songs have in it?
Probably. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. There's a lot of fucks too. So
I love it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song on the album? And is there anything that you can share with us today off the album?
There's a tune that I wrote with Nick Carpenter from Medium Build called "The Man." I think I'll play it here in a little bit if that's cool. But there's a lot of cool tunes on there. There's I love the rock stuff, the more heavier stuff. There's one called Magnet that's on there. That's a banger. It's one of my favorites. But there's a lot of slow, sad, sappy shit too, and I'm a sucker for a slow, sad country song. So we got a few of those on there. But are you
sad?
I'm not.
I feel like you have all the happiness right now.
That's kind of the deal too. Is a lot of these songs were written three years ago probably. So
gotcha.
Kind of before this transition started. So that's what I try to keep telling these all the fans and everything is like, you're not going to be able to hear the change in this record just because it was done prior to Woods and this kind of change that's happened for me. So I think people are going to listen to it and be like, this motherfucker's lying. Like he ain't changed none. But no, it's a cool record, and we're really excited about it. So and I hope that hope everybody gives it a listen and digs it too. So.
And it drops June
12th.
June 12th. Yeah. When you sit down to write a song, what usually comes first? Like lyrics, melody?
Melody. I'm a melody guy. I love Nirvana, huge Kurt Cobain guy, and that grunge sound and everything. So one of his deals was melody first, lyrics second. And so that's kind of the whole process of us. We'll stay up late drinking, and we'll kind of get a bunch of voice memos and just guitar licks and stuff like that. And then once we get into that space, we'll bring out old shit that we hadn't heard in a couple of years or whatever, and be like, this is pretty cool. I don't know where we were at whenever we put it all together. But yeah, it's a cool process, and it's helped out a lot in the past, and hopefully it helps out on this record too.
Because you're known for being like brutally honest, is there ever a song that you listen back to and you're like, shouldn't have put that in there?
100%. Yeah, 100%. And there's a couple on this record where I was very iffy about, how are people gonna kind of interpret it, and with everything that's going on in my life right now, how are people gonna take this, or whatever. But at the same time, like, that's kind of therapy for me. Getting those hard things that it's hard for me to say to anybody else out, in the world. And honestly, with people that, message me and like, I was going to off myself, or I was going to, your music helped me so much. And then I found your music and stuff like that. It's not only therapeutic for me. I found that it's therapeutic for other people as well. So if there's something out there that I can write and that can help somebody else, I think that's kind of what I'm put on this earth to do. I think as musician, as artists, I feel like that's something that we shouldn't be afraid to do, right? We shouldn't be afraid to go out and talk about things that are super hard to talk about and worry, how people are going to interpret it. But
that's what makes you relatable, though. And that's what your fan base craves and needs, is that connection. And so you doing that is why you have such a fierce fan base. Yeah,
for sure. No, it's crazy at the same time. Like I said, I'm glad to help, and I'm glad that there are people out there that feel the same way that I do. And if I can help, it's always a plus.
So I'm sorry, he keeps snoring over here, and I'm like shaking. I'm trying to wake him up. So tell me about this song, "The Man," that you want to show us. What is it about, and what's kind of the vibe and all that jazz? Because I want to hear some of it.
So I think it's kind of it's about a guy just not knowing if he's worth it. If he's worth love, if he's worth being exactly who this woman thinks that he is. And I think that goes into a lot of, everyday life, not just, if you're in a relationship, but just kind of everyday life. I think there's a lot of a question, especially with me. I'll go through a lot of days where it's kind of like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I this person that people think I am? And it's just like, it's a bunch of nonsense that our brains kind of trick us into thinking that, that we're not good enough, or whatever it is. And so this is kind of where we kind of went with it at first. And the song can be kind of, it can kind of be brought in however people want to, bring it into them. But I think it's just kind of, it's kind of one of those tunes that me and Nick were kind of going through kind of simultaneously, between our personal lives at the same time. And we got in. I think halfway through the song, we were kind of like, so which way are we going to go with this? Like, are we going to go this way or that way? And that's what going back to what I said earlier, is kind of, that's kind of how it can be, however
it's a
the listener
process.
wants to. Yeah, absolutely. And however the listener wants to take it in. So
you have such a talent for
I appreciate it.
Just expressing things and getting evoking emotions out of people. Yeah. When I first heard it, I was like, it was so good.
Thank you.
Night Champion is coming out June 12th. You guys have to go and get the album. Let's talk about Bailey and Woods.
Yeah.
So I know that you and Bailey just got engaged. Like, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it was, I feel like it's been a long time coming. We dated back in college for a couple years, and then split up for a few years, and then kind of got back together. And it's kind of been on and off for just kind of a very long time. And then probably over the last, I'd say probably two and a half years, we kind of like rekindled that flame that we've had for a while. And it's really cool because she's seen me at my worst and she's seen me at my best. And so she's such a dog, man. She's one of my favorite people. She's one of my best friends. If not my best friend, I guess I gotta say best friend right now.
It's about to be your wife, baby.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. No, but she's phenomenal. And then Woods comes along. Biggest blessing in my life by far.
What was it like being at the birth?
It was crazy. So we were on tour with Hardy. It was the first weekend with Hardy. We finished the record on Wednesday. She calls me Wednesday evening. I'm here in Nashville. I'm leaving to go to San Diego for the first show on Thursday. She calls me. She's like, "Hey, I think that I might go into labor early. You need to figure out if you're coming back or not." I was like, "Well, I'm leaving to go to San Diego, but let me know." So I fly to San Diego that night, get there late. I go to sleep at 4:00. She calls me in the morning. She's like, "Hey, you need to get here. I'm finna go into labor." I was like, "All right, cool." So I get there, and I had been sober for a month. I knew that I wanted to be completely sober whenever Woods got here, and kind of take it all in and everything. And I walk in, I'm dog tired, not as tired as her, obviously, but it was just an experience. Everything about it was beautiful. Yeah, it was when that baby girl came in, and I looked at her for the first time and looked into her eyes. It was just like a little flip switch in my brain, man. It was like everything leading up to this point has been to do this, you know, and that's my little angel, man. It's kind of crazy. I feel like I'm probably going to go to jail here in about 16 to 18 years whenever little boys start coming in or whatever. But
Oh,
no,
she looks like Bailey. You're definitely going to be in trouble.
oh man, yeah, no,
Bailey's hot.
Yeah, she's no, both of them. They're such a blessing in my life. They're my everything, and to get to spend the rest of my life with Bailey and to raise Woods, and it's just I don't know. It's like I said earlier, you know, I'm in a really good place right now. I feel better than I ever have, and they're one of the main reasons behind that. And so it's yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. It's great. Everything's good about it.
The growth is admirable. Let's talk about her name, Woods, because what is your name?
My name's Ropyr Madison Koe Wetzel.
Yeah, so I thought it was really cute that you're Ropyr and she's Woods.
Yeah.
Like, how Texas can you get, dude?
I know. It was, man, we kicked around a bunch of different names, and you know, it was, I don't know. Wait, I liked Woods for you know, a boy or a girl or whatever it was, and yeah, whenever she got here, it was, I knew that I wanted to name her after me somehow, you know, but Bailey wouldn't let me name her Ropyr or Co. So we had to go with it.
She's like, it's tainted. You can't name our daughter that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. And Madison was my granddad's name, so it was his middle name, and so keeping that name alive in the family, and Woods fits her perfect, man. She's already a little handful. She's starting to get her personality. Which she likes to be left alone a lot, which is right up my alley and Bailey's alley as well. So she's if you mess with her, do what?
She's independent.
Yeah, she's very independent, and so like if you mess with her too long, she'll start like shaking, and like it's the cutest thing in the world, but. Man, she's a handful already. We've got our hands full, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
All right, well, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you some quick hitter questions, and you just have to answer.
Bunnie, I fucking suck at these. You know that.
You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. And they're not like the ones that were on the bus.
Okay, thank God.
I saw him sit up. He was like, "Oh." I almost made it through.
Actually, I will take that tequila now.
And you know what's so funny is on the bus, that's the first thing you did. You said, "Where's the tequila?"
Legit. Things haven't changed.
Yeah, no, not at all. All right, so what's the worst hangover city?
Oh, man. Fort Worth, Texas, by far. Yeah.
I feel like parts of Texas just smell weird.
Yeah, no,
and Fort Worth is one of them.
Fort Worth, yeah. Well, it's just all the, you know, you got the stockyards, you got all the cattle and everything always running through. But yeah, I was going to say Vegas, but I feel like that'd be too cliche. And so, yeah, Fort Worth, Texas. It's you know, we live right down the road. We live in Weatherford, and we were just there at the PBR finals this weekend, and I'm pretty sure today it's been 3-4 days since Saturday night, and I think I'm just now getting over my hangover. So shout out Fort Worth.
What's your most chaotic tour story? That you can tell now that's politically correct.
We saw a girl getting her asshole tatted in Waco, Texas one time.
What was she getting on it?
I don't know. It was like a star. It was like a big star. I mean, her asshole had to been that big around. Like I mean.
Damn.
But so I was.
That's like a tree trunk.
Yeah, at my boy Lefty's shop in Waco.
Lefty will tattoo it all, buddy.
I'm telling you. Actually, he wasn't the one doing it, or I wouldn't let him tat me again. But we were in there. We were all kind of getting something. It was like right before a show, and we're all in there drinking and just bullshitting. And one of his buddies comes in and was like, "Hey, y'all got to come check this out. She's cool. She wants you to check it out." We're like, "All right, well." Do we walk in there, and she's just, I mean, spread eagle. And it was, but some bitch is about that big around. Like it was like, yeah.
You could count the rings around it like a tree trunk. That's crazy.
Shout out to her, man.
I mean, listen, I love a queen that can just put it all out there.
Man, I hope she's doing okay, to be honest. She was a sweet girl.
All right. What's a song you wish you wrote?
Oh man.
You can plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Pass.
Man, yeah, we'll pass. Let's come back. Let's come back to it.
All right. What's the weirdest celebrity DM you've ever gotten? You got to spill the tea. Give us a little tea.
I don't know.
I know you've had some weirdos
I don't
creep in your
know.
DMs.
I don't know. Like you and Jilly and like y'all are about the only celebrities I really know. Like honestly, like I don't know. I'm trying to think.
All right. What's an artist you want to collab with that you haven't yet?
Man, dead or alive or just
Dead or alive, sure.
Man, Mac Miller would have been great to get with. And man, me and Bailey both. We love Mac, and I've always been a fan. And you know, whenever he passed away, that was the first time that I'd felt like I'd lost like a family member, our best friend before. Like I was so distraught whenever I found out that we were actually in New York. Whenever I found it out, and man, it was rough. Like we all just went straight to the bar and started drinking that night. And but yeah, man, I feel like he was obviously gone way too soon, but the music that he was making, you know, coming up on his music, it was always great, but the music he was making right there at the end was some of my favorite music still to this day. And it sucks I never got to meet him or collab with him, but yeah, it would have been great to have a tune with that dude.
That's a good one. What's your most toxic trait, Koe?
Oh, toxic trait.
Now, especially now that you're on the straight and narrow, right, buddy?
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think about some of the shit I've done over the last couple of weeks. Oh man, I'm hard to be around after I've been like taking a nap or something. I don't know if that's a toxic trait.
You're like grumpy when you wake up from a nap.
Yeah, and it's bad because like, you know, I'll be at the house and I'll take a nap or whatever, and Bailey will be like, hey, do you mind helping out with Woods or whatever, doing whatever it is? And I'm just like so appalled that she would ask me to do something as soon as I woke up from a nap. But I don't know if we'll call that a toxic trait.
It's because you have to get your bearings. You just woke up. And I think anytime I take a nap and wake up, I'm like way worse than I was before I took the nap.
I would sometimes I just force myself to stay awake because I know if I take that nap, then it's going to be hell on everybody. So
for sure. And last question, what's your favorite thing about Texas?
The people. I love the people of Texas. You know, it's you know, growing up in East Texas, knowing everybody, and now, you know, because we toured in Texas so much, and I have friends. No matter where I'm at in Texas, I feel like I can call up anybody and, you know, if I'm broke down or have a ride but it feels like home. You know, it's just no matter where I go in the world, you know, we're kind of all over the place and touring and doing this and that. You know, it always just kind of soothes my soul a little bit to know that eventually I'll get to go get to go home to Texas. And I don't know, it's super homey and the people are fantastic. And I don't know, man, bury me down in Texas.
Yeah, I love that. Koe, thank you so much for coming on the podcast finally.
No,
was it bad?
No, this was great. No, it makes me want to do more podcasts now.
There you go.
We'll do another one here before too long.
Listen, come back on the couch anytime you want. Cool. I'm always here for you. I
appreciate it.
So proud of you and your growth.
Thank
Congratulations on getting married. And I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see y'all soon. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Dumb Blonde. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.